Guys, what is going on? My name is Jonathan. This is Comic Book Cinema, where we bring you the best comic book movie content. Today, I'm really excited about the guest that we have on the show. First and foremost, Mr. Rick, the OC or the OG, whatever you want to call him. He's a super cool dude. What's up, Rick?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Also today, we're joined by Mr. Shane Smith, Mr. Organic Poison himself. What's up, Shane?
What's up, John and crew? I am so happy to be back on the show. Always a fun time.
Happy to have you back. Mr. Lurk Vineyard. What's going on, Mr. Lurk? Are you pretty swamped over there in the Florida region just recently after the hurricane touched?
I had to change a couple pair of shoes walking through parking lots, but I'm glad to be here for this.
By the way, were you working earlier, like just before this?
Not in a professional capacity. I was at the gymnasium.
Gotcha. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us today for this discussion. And boy, is this one a doozy. We, as comic book movie fans, have just gotten the announcement that Hugh Jackman, at the age of 53 years old, maybe 54, is returning to the role of Wolverine.
Hey, Hugh, you want to play Wolverine one more time?
Yeah, sure, Ryan.
Luke, if I could quote you, I think not too long back, what exactly did you say about your preference for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine on this show in the past?
I don't remember exactly what I said. I have the recollection of a goldfish, but I like the idea. I don't see any reason not to wheel him out in a wheelchair.
That's what it was.
If he wants to come and play Wolverine, I guess my only question is, how much of it is this going to be like a cameo, or is he going to be, a driving force in this movie, or is it going to be like that one X-Men movie where Deadpool was in it and like never said a word, But I'm interested to see.
So Deadpool, the character of Deadpool, was owned previously by Fox because, they had the rights to Deadpool, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. They were putting out, we'll just say, controversial X-Men films for a decade or so. Some were really good, in my opinion. Some were kind of and some were really, really bad. But over the course of that decade plus, the one character that most people identified with, most people loved, was Hugh Jackman's interpretation of Wolverine. I personally am really excited to see him come back. I know there's a lot of comic book movie fans that aren't excited to see him come back and that never wanted to see any type of connection to the Fox X-Men. We've already gotten that a little bit, though, with the Patrick Stewart cameo that we had in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In my mind, it's not that they're saying, oh, everything from the Fox universe is now connected to our MCU. It's just the fun and the access that you have to basically every character that's ever had an existence on film through the multiverse. And some people like that idea, some people don't. Mr. Rick, how do you feel about it?
I think it's too much. It's too much of a Pandora's box of opening up everything and you just kind of like explain it as, well, it's from the multiverse. It's an excuse. As far as Hugh Jackman goes, yeah, he's a great actor. I can't get past him crying. I'm sorry. I think of Wolverine. I think of that tough, gritty, BA, unstoppable force, not a crier, not a very emotional person. In every movie, it feels like he's like either on the border of crying or he's crying. That and not putting on the costume for me. I love old school costumes, superheroes.
What about that classic cartoon meme where he's like holding that picture of himself touching it and he's like, he's almost in tears there. I mean, that's a classic.
I think I had the action figure, but there's no real tears.
I don't know. The only example that I can remember specifically, like what you're talking about, is when he had to kill the love of his life, Jean Grey.
He cried for Professor X, too.
Oh, well, I mean, come on. That's the guy that brought him out of the trenches and,
Yeah, but Wolverine is a stone cold killer. Like,
bury your wife and shut up.
Exactly. Move on.
Don't be a wimp. What you think, Shane?
You're supposed to have a steel lacrimal gland, too. It doesn't produce tears.
I don't understand why they're just going to continue to have him. I think it's great, but also it's like, okay, look, dude, we saw Logan. So, like, what sense to me, it's like it gets rid of the mystery, and the mystery is why you're there. And I feel like a lot of stuff we talk about with the multi-universe, idea or whatever, that's kind of how me personally, it starts to lose me with this. In all honesty, the Deadpool movies are cool, but like I'm not like super attached to them like a lot of people are. So I'm thinking to myself, if this is what they can do to transition over to Deadpool being, I guess, a Disney property, by all means, I guess we'll do Hugh Jackman. We'll take the ride for Hugh Jackman as well, because it's not like you're not going to watch it.
When you look at Deadpool, I think a lot of things apply to that character and that franchise that don't apply to anything else, and they can get away with a lot more, at least in my mind. Them bringing back Hugh in a Deadpool 3 to me just seems perfect, especially since we had in the first Deadpool, remember the odd jokes of him having a piece of paper stapled to his face of Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
And there's been references like sprinkled throughout the 2 Deadpool films. I think it's a match made in heaven, honestly. And this is something that gets me so fired up, so excited. I'm not so excited about Black Panther 2. I'm not so excited about Aquaman 2. I am not so excited about a lot of these films that we've gotten, with the exception of a few. And it seems like the ones I've been most excited about were Doctor Strange 2 and, the other films that had cameos, like the Spider-Man film. Maybe that's the nostalgia aspect of things, or maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's just cool to get some of those characters that you loved so much and meant so much to you when you were younger.
I like them bringing him in there and like tying up what you were saying about the other Deadpool movies. I just feel like we don't need him going forward in the MCU. The MCU is kind of like scraping the bottom of the barrel right now, and they really need to reboot the X-Men and Fantastic Four. So I don't want him going forward.
I have no doubts that that's exactly what they're going to do. The same with the Fantastic Four. I don't even think John Krasinski's going to play Reed Richards. I think it's going to be a whole new cast of characters.
I said I don't really want him in there either.
Me neither. I didn't think he did a great job in that film. But, we are going to get that ultimate rebooted X-Men that everybody's craving for and dying to see. It's just kind of a one-off. That's really honestly what I think it's going to be. It really is. And as long as it's that, I'm okay with it.
It'll be fun.
I have a quick question for Rick and Shane. Given that you guys are both kind of anti Hugh Jackman in this new movie, you want him dead. How did you feel about Spider-Man No Way Home?
I thought it was great.
Not great.
I thought it was awesome. I was, in all fairness, like I said, I am not like a super fanboy about Deadpool. I do know that there has been people joking around, talking about stuff on the internet since the first Deadpool movie came out. Oh my God, I wonder if Wolverine's going to be in this movie. I wonder if they're going to have Wolverine in the next one. And then sure enough, here we are 10 years or however long later, and they are going to have Wolverine in the movie. And it's not going to be the new Wolverine. It's actually going to be Hugh Jackman. So I completely understand why people would be up in arms and excited about it, especially if they're already campaigning on it. I mean, this is all that was on the internet the other day. I mean, whatever. I thought that Spider-Man No Way Home was great, though. I'm a sucker.
I hear the Pandora's box argument, how it kind of makes nothing carry weight anymore if you can always just explain things away with the metaverse. But I do think that it opens up opportunities for things we wouldn't see otherwise. Like No Way Home is a perfect example. If we didn't have a little bit looser rails for this train, we might not end up in new places.
And Marvel was starting to get to the point where they were like, the walls were caving in, right? Because they were having to live and die by the rules set forth in their universe, the characters and the former storylines. Yeah, kind of what Luke is saying. I think that this just broadens everything and kind of gives them more stuff to play with.
I mean, I think there's an extreme, right? It can go off the rails as well. Like they can go so far that's, I mean, how do I care about anybody if this Spider-Man dies, we'll just bring in one from another metaverse. Yeah. I hear that, but to have some leeway. I mean, let's be honest. These are superheroes. There's no rules to begin with, as we can always go back to.
I just felt they kind of like tarnished what they were building with Tom Holland as setting him up as he is our new Spider-Man. Like those guys were in the past. They're moving forward with him. And I personally, I like him the best. I think Tobey's too old. He was too old to play Spider-Man in the beginning, from my opinion. And Andrew Garfield always looked like he was like ready to like walk away because he couldn't focus on what he was talking about throughout the whole movie. Like he had something wrong, like he was always like dialed in somewhere else instead of talking.
He was too cool to be Spider-Man. I mean, he rode a skateboard. I thought he was gonna like bully the nerds. I never got into him, but I definitely have to starkly disagree with. Oh my gosh, you just said his name and I'm drawing a blank. Yeah. I mean, but that's definitely one of my childhood memories of seeing him as Spider-Man. But I definitely like Tom Holland. I do think he probably is the more lighthearted view of Spider-Man that maybe we were used to in the comics. But anyway, this is about Wolverine. I didn't mean to derail.
Tom Holland's great. I think we all agree for sure, though.
Overall, I guess that's kind of where the consensus lies. We have 2 in this chat that are not excited about the idea and 2 that are hopeful. Let me ask you this, Rick, being the comic book fanatic that you are, would it make you more excited, or would it be like more awesome or more of a good thing if you saw Wolverine, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, pop up in the classic yellow suit with the ears and everything else? Like, would that get your blood boiling a little bit?
Yeah, of course. It's touching on nostalgia. I never thought that he would be fit the build either. He's not short, stocky, just jacked little hairy fuzzball of rage, of which Wolverine is. He gets in shape. That guy gets.
But he has like the hair that like points. I mean,
yeah.
Who else are we gonna find that does that?
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing that is really positive to probably look forward to. Is they're probably gonna go OD on like the outfits and stuff. Like I bet they get him out there in like a yellow suit and everything. Hugh Jackman going crazy. Hopefully they cartoon it up. That'd be sick.
Or maybe he's in there for 2 seconds and then goes away after they made such a big deal.
He's like, I can't stand this thing, and throws it.
He dies 3 minutes into the movie.
No, now you guys mentioned that. One of you guys alluded to that earlier. I don't think this is just going to be a glorified cameo. This is going to be a legit like buddy cop with Deadpool and Wolverine. Honestly,
that's sick if that's it.
I don't think that they're going to bring Hugh Jackman back and tease us like that and get us all amped up just for him to pop up for 3 minutes in the film. It's going to be there's going to be a lot of action from Hugh.
You sound really confident in that.
But that's also completely within the style of Deadpool to just be like
you got to watch me for 2 hours. I'm gonna at least watch the movie when it hits streaming platforms.
You're not gonna go see it in theaters.
I mean, I may not, probably won't. I'm just being honest. Like somebody else is gonna have to approach me about going to see it.
That doesn't surprise me about you, Shane, because you're not like a comic book movie fanatic like some of us are. But with Rick, I know, like I don't know Rick, but I know Rick well enough to know that you're probably at least gonna go see it in theaters, right?
Yeah.
That's who we are. It's ingrained in our DNA, Shane.
I respect it. I love it. It's entertaining me. It's entertaining to me every single day of my life. So by all means, keep doing what you're doing, John. I'm happy to be here.
I just really enjoyed the thought of somebody in a back alley approaching Shane, like, "Hey, you want to see the new Daredevil movie?"
Yes, sir. Let's go. I definitely.
All right, man. I was just gonna wait for the streaming, but I guess if you're pulling my arm,
I was gonna say this is not one of those movies that I would be like go out of my way to not see. You know what I'm saying? Like I would go see this if like one of my friends or if my wife or somebody was like, "Oh, I kind of want to go see the new Dead." All right, sweet, let's go Friday night. Pop out and go watch it. And of course I'm gonna text you and be like, "Bro, I went and saw it. It was awesome. I can't believe I thought this was a bad idea."
Everything.
Yeah.
But do you go to the theaters generally?
I only go to see superhero movies pretty much. So, but that should tell you that that's how often I go though. So I don't go see every superhero movie either. So, Star Wars comes out with something that matters, I might go. I'm not like a theaters every weekend guy, especially not the past 2 years.
Yeah, things have changed a lot since the pandemic. I think we have to word it that way on YouTube. You guys know me. I'm going to be excited no matter what. Even if Hugh Jackman was not in Deadpool 3, my hype for seeing Ryan Reynolds in the MCU is already massive. Well, guys, thanks for joining me for this episode. Thanks for the discussion. Time will tell. Will it just be a glorified cameo? Will we see Hugh Jackman return after this film? There's a lot of unanswered questions at this point. And honestly, I don't think we're going to get many answers until the film comes out in 2024. Mr. Shane, why don't you tell us all about your podcast?
My podcast is Organic Poison Podcast. We just had episode 100, actually 101, but you know, I'm really excited about the fact that I did 100 episodes. It took me a while to get here, but something tells me I'll be up to 150 or 200 a lot quicker than I got to 100. Sorry. Very exciting stuff going on over there. A lot less family friendly, but you know, still a podcast. We have fun, talk about relevant stuff, irrelevant stuff, and the people that I have on there are awesome people. So that's the most important thing. They all do different things.
Well, you can always find us here on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Real Comic Book Cinema. You can also find us in Facebook World. Guys, thanks for joining me. And until next time, have a great day.